Hey, everybody. I'm going to talk about the NFL annual meeting a little bit later, but want to get out this news. First of all, before I get out the news that's associated with this headline, just a quick thank you to those who expressed concern after I received what the police consider to be a credible death threat. Uh, and they have, I would say, covered some considerable ground and a little bit of work. Um, and it's rather ridiculous to have that happen. So, at any rate, I want you to take a look at this. First of all, the news is that the Oakland A's have signed on with Legends Entertainment, and Legends is known for, well, known for being partly owned by Jerry Jones, partly owned by Sixth Street Partners, partly owned by YGR Holdings, and the constructors of some of the largest naming rights agreements in sports history. But here is the irony around this press release that was issued today, and it goes back to news that was issued December 13th of last year. And, well, it looks like this. CAA lands all A's ballpark naming rights agreement over Legends. That's the headline. And that was in the Sports Business Journal by Terry Lefton, who I'm acquainted with, longtime journalist with them. And what he wrote was that numerous industry sources tell me CAA Sports is selling. This is what he says his sources are telling. This is what Terry says his sources are telling him, okay? Says that CAA Sports is selling naming rights and other principal assets for what is now the A's planned $1.5 billion stadium on the Las Vegas Strip, slated to be built on 9 acres of the 35-acre site of what is currently the Tropicana Hotel Casino. Just FYI, I don't think people should really get stuck on that, because if you actually know the details, it sounds ridiculous, like there, but I digress. The ballpark is scheduled to open in 2028 with plans to develop the adjoining parcel for a new hotel and casino. CAA want to link the process to qualify as the lead sales agency. Listen to what I'm saying to you here, okay? Listen to what I'm saying to you here, all right? And I'm saying what you read. I'm reading this, all right? And I'll just continue to read it right here. CAA want to link the process as the lead sales agency, beating out Legends, which sold marketing assets for nearby Allegiant Stadium in the finals, sources said. The parties have agreed on terms with a legal agreement pending. The CAA Icon unit was hired in September to oversee project management of the 33,000-seat ballpark. The architect, construction manager, and subcontractors, Icon, performed a similar function in Vegas during the building of Allegiant Stadium. And then Terry writes, it will be interesting to see how a naming rights deal and other contractually obligated income from the A's new home compares to the 3-year-old Allegiant Stadium, a 20-year agreement sold by Legends, reportedly at $20 million annually. The A's were scheduled to show new architectural renderings of the planned retractable roof venue last week in Las Vegas, but the event was postponed in deference to the recent hit-and-run deaths of 2 Nevada Highway Patrol officers. Now, here's where Terry screwed up, and here's why I didn't trumpet this news, okay? And it's buried right here. He wrote, CAA want to link the process to qualify as the lead sales agency, beating out Legends, which sold marketing assets for nearby Allegiant Stadium in the finals, sources said. Not the A's, sources. But then he went on, the parties have agreed on terms with a legal agreement pending. All right, folks, when you say legal agreement pending, you know what it means? It means you don't have an agreement. Okay? It means you don't have anything that's legally binding at all. All right? So what this sounds to me like, I'm just going to say, I'm going to put together the puzzle, is that CAA jumped the gun in an effort to win this competition and told everybody that they beat out Legends and they did this and that, when in point of fact, they had no agreement and they had no official word from the Athletics that they were the legally binding, contractually recognized sales representative for the Athletics to sell naming rights. But in CAA fashion, and I said because CAA, with respect to sports, the NFL draft has a tendency to, overuse the media and drop tidbits here and there and make young men coming out of the NFL draft who might be mid-range or lower range first round picks think that they're going to be like the number one pick, that sort of thing. All right. That kind of behavior, I believe, seeped into this. All right. And they didn't do anything. And undoubtedly, the Athletics brass, knowing them as I do, were really ticked off and just simply let the time go on and then waited until they were ready to do what they did, which is hire Legends, who actually has a better track record than CAA by far. Okay. By far. So CAA screwed this up big time. I mean, they should have tried to play for is, first of all, keep it quiet. Big lesson in business, folks, and in life. Until you have it signed on the line, which is dotted, to steal a phrase from Glenn Ross, get them to sign. In fact, I can hear Alec Baldwin saying that, playing his role. Get them to sign on the line that is dotted. Get them to sign on the line that is dotted. OABC, always be closing. All right? It's a heck of a scene. At any rate, CAA somewhere either forgot to look at or maybe just never plain saw Glenn Ross and Alec Baldwin's famous, 8-minute plus rant? Oh, it's epic. Epic. Well, they didn't get that. So what happened was, hey, the Athletics, and I want to thank the Athletics for sending me their press release, did go ahead and today, announce that it was going to be Legends. And again, Legends has a gigantic track record in putting together giant sized naming rights deals like nobody's business. Here's the press release, and I'll enlarge it, and then we'll go from there. And it reads, A's hire Legends to lead sales for new ballpark in Las Vegas. Now, this is notable. It says lead sales. It didn't say they were exclusive, but it says lead. It doesn't mean that CAA is out of the picture, but it does clarify, indeed, who's in charge. Okay? It clarifies who's in charge. And so it reads as follows. The Athletics and Legends today announced a partnership in which the global premium experiences company will manage premium seat and ticket sales for the club's new ballpark in Las Vegas. All right? And now I believe this is going to extend to the naming rights. So let me finish. We are excited to embark on this long-term partnership that will lead to the opening of our transformational ballpark in Las Vegas. A's president Dave Kaval said, Legends' extensive industry experience and intricate knowledge of the local markets will help us create products that meet the needs of our fans while building a successful ballpark experience. Legends will deliver strategic consulting and go-to-market analysis, product design and development, consultation, strategy, and execution for premium and suite sales, initial valuation work, staffing, and valuable marketplace insights. Additionally, Legends will build a dedicated team for the A's based in Las Vegas to focus on sales execution. Quote, we are honored for the opportunity to partner with the A's and help bring their bold vision of delivering a first-class hospitality experience to their fans and the Las Vegas community, said Mike Andreyko, president of Legends Global Sales. But they also do the naming rights. From the moment we started working with Dave and his team on our initial feasibility study, there has been alignment in our data-driven approach in optimizing design and marketing strategy. We are excited to build on this collaboration by applying our global experience and expertise to serve the A's on sales execution of their new stadium. The A's initially engaged Legends in 2021 through its research arm, Construction, Sports, and Leisure, which I announced that CSL was partnering with the Athletics when I interviewed Dave that same year. So this was no surprise to me that they were involved. This has been going on for quite some time. Now, I'm sorry for those A's fans that, don't watch my channel on a regular basis. But hey, this is something I've covered for quite some time. CSL to conduct a comprehensive study on the opportunity of the club to establish a new permanent home in Las Vegas. Legends Global Sales Team has extensive experience partnering on the most ambitious sports projects, including the opening of Allegiant Stadium, SoFi Stadium, and Notre Dame Stadium to deliver record-breaking results. That's true. Legends is also currently partnered with FC Barcelona, San Diego FC, and the Buffalo Bills in developing the financial model, stadium design, data capture and analysis, and strategic planning to support the sales execution efforts of their respective stadium development projects. And that goes on to talk about Legends and how it's followed in 2008. But what this press release does not say is that Legends is actually owned 1/3 part by the Jerry Jones family, as well as the Yankees Holdings organization and Sixth Street investors. And so on top of that, another one of the partners through CSL is none other than Jed York. That's right, Jed York of the York family, including John York, who owned the 49ers. So this has been an effort by the sports organization. You would say, why are they involved with this? Why do they own it? Well, it's called ownership of data, and it's called management of data and ownership also of the marketing around which they're going to obtain these marketing data so that they can obtain these giant sized naming rights agreements. That's not what's mentioned here. The SoFi Stadium agreement is north of 600 million. Prior to that, Allegiant Stadium was at 600 million. Buffalo Bills Stadium is stated to be more than that. So why did I say that, the A's stadium is going to top 600 million? Because that's Legends' track record. Because their relationships and their understanding of how to use data, location, architecture to sell and also to realize value from a naming rights agreement is beyond comparison. There are really, arguably, there's no other organization that can compare with them on a track record basis in the world. Legends is number one. So for the A's to maintain, and I have to credit Dave Kaval on this, because these are relationships that Dave worked to cultivate many years ago. I would estimate as far back as, well, even prior to when he was A's president, when he was down in San Jose. All right. He knows the people like Bill Rohde at CSL on a first name basis. He's known them for a long, long time. They're on a speed dial relationship, as is the case for many people in the sports business. And I should say the business side of sports. And so it's no surprise that it evolved to where we are. What is interesting, however, is how Terry Lefton managed to jump the gun without even reaching out to the Athletics. Because note, he said his sources. In his post from December, Terry didn't even mention at all any attempt to call the Athletics to say, hey, can you confirm that this happened? And give them an opportunity to say either no or we have no comment at this time. That would have really cleaned it up, because now it looks like CA was using him to try to sandbag Legends and jump the gun on the A's and force the issue. Bad thing, again, folks, Bad thing to do. Sign on the line that is dotted. Now, let's discuss this other part of it. Why is it reasonable to believe that the Athletics would command a $600 million naming rights agreement? Because I'm talking about organizations that that are not baseball. We're not talking about Major League Baseball. We're talking about organizations that are in other sports, primarily National Football League, right? And then if I go and I search, baseball naming rights, okay, naming rights agreements, baseball stadium naming rights agreements, and I look at let's see, as of 2019, what are the worth? That's an old one, so I'm not going to use that's Forbes because it's 2019. It's too old. But Sports Business ESPN has they claim up-to-date stadium naming rights agreement. So let's see what they have. And as I go down here and I'm looking at teams, like the Texas Rangers is $2.5 million a year to 2034, and for AmeriQuest, but they don't give the total. They only give that. All right. If I don't have the total length, I don't know how lucrative it is or is not. Right. So that one tells me nothing. And I believe the Home Baby Baseball had a ranking of stadium names, but that was just the name. It wasn't the value of the deal. All right. So bottom line is that when you're looking at these naming rights deals, there are a number of ballparks that simply don't have corporate naming rights at all. Like, for example, Dodger Stadium. Okay. It doesn't mean they're not worth anything. And it just simply means that for sometimes reasons of tradition and other reasons, maybe they didn't believe that they were going to get what they believed it was worth. It just didn't pan out that they have them at all. Now, now having said all that, you would say, well, doesn't that point to something less than a $600 million naming rights agreement? The reason why I say in the Athletics case, no, is simply because of the unique design, location, and city that we're talking about. We're talking about in Oakland A's baseball park, all right? And that, pure and simple, is going on a property that, how many times you heard this? You're going to hear this term a lot, all right? Iconic. It seems like one of the watchwords of popular culture today with respect to nouns, persons, places, or things that are known by everybody. Iconic, all right? But this is precisely that. It's iconic. And unfortunately, what the Athletics don't have, when I look at the rendering, what the Athletics haven't presented is a rendering, a kind of impression of how the ballpark is going to look from coming down the Las Vegas Strip. And let me show you what I mean by the reverse of that. And that will look like this. So that we have, as I go down here, a view that was put up right there by MLB.com. And this is from the stadium looking out to New York, New York. But what I don't see is the reverse. And the point that I'm making is that when you come down Las Vegas Strip and you head to Tropicana Boulevard, instead of seeing the Tropicana Hotel at that vista, you're going to see this. All right. And it's going to have the ability for you to look inside, and then this white sheathing on the outside, which really gives them opportunity to put a corporate name on it in a number of different creative ways. So I remember Mark Davis, when he gave his speech at the 2019 Raiders sponsor party that he and Jerry Jones held for CES Las Vegas. I was invited because my friend is a tech investor, and he was invited and said, "Zen, you got to be here." But what I learned there, Mark Davis said, because it had at the Delano, it's called the Hotel Skyfall Lounge, which now I've been to twice, and it's a beautiful lounge. If you've never been there before, you go to Vegas, make some time to go there. And Mark pointed out to the vista behind us, giant glass, and he said, "Well, here I'll show you. I'll give you a snippet of the event, since I actually made a little short video from it, and you can see what it looked like." And here's the event there, and let me make sure the volume is there. This is it.
As possible. To say I'm excited to be here in Las Vegas, 1 year away from
That's Howie Long.
My Oakland Raiders, moving here to Las Vegas, becoming the Las Vegas Raiders, playing in the stadium.
Folks, my buddy Bruce Bateman, I want to thank you very much for telling me about this event.
So today we got to see the Raiders launch and announce their involvement here in Las Vegas. Jerry Jones was here, Howie Long, and Mark Davis. So it was very cool to be able to see everybody and the cool things they're doing in a really high-tech new stadium.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, the Raiders are about, I would say, maybe 25% of the way, not 30% of the way, in building a stadium here in Las Vegas, relocating from Oakland. I don't want to get into the controversy there. I will say there are two different stories. There's the Oakland story and the controversy there, which to me is completely separate from the amazing business opportunity Las Vegas presents for this stadium. Now, there are, of course, a number of questions. I pointed out them all, and many more. I did learn something, however. I met Elliot McCabe, who is the representative from Bank of America on the stadium financing, and he basically said to me that they're deal agnostic. They go, the Raiders said, "Hey, we need your help. We go wherever the deal is with respect to the National Football League." And the financing, for those of you who asked, is in place. Okay, so that's not a question. Because a number of you have asked me that, and rightly so, because it wasn't announced, but it is there. Jerry Jones gave an outstanding presentation, kind of a rollicking speech, would you say? And
it was, it was an interesting conversation about fatherhood.
Yeah,
I mean, Howie Long's two sons playing. Mark Davis and his father, and Jerry Jones' father's inspiration, and there's a lot about family
and about NFL economics and everything else.
Yeah, the economics.
And he talked about the great business opportunity. What was interesting, however, is there was no discussion about sports gambling. There was no question that was raised by the audience. I did not ask a question didn't want to. I was trying to just be in. I'm happy to be in the room, and I am supportive of the Raiders needing a new stadium. And you all know the rest. Okay, this is a great opportunity. Sports gambling is the wave of the future, but it was never raised, and that is what's going to double the franchise value of the Raiders and many other organizations. Okay,
but I also think the tourism of traveling teams.
Yeah.
I think would I travel to Kansas City for a game? Yeah. We're going to Vegas for a game? Yeah. Why not? Right? I get 2 for 1.
Exactly.
Right? But would I go to Kansas City? I don't know. Yeah. No disrespect to Kansas City.
That's a good point.
No disrespect to Kansas City. Right. It's just I could go there for the game. If it was like a playoff game, yeah, I could go. But if it's just a regular season game.
Is it enough to offset the visitation declines? They've been enormous because some of the hotels look like ghost towns, and that's what concerns me. I don't think the Raiders are enough. I think you need more.
Yeah, but every weekend you can at least say, I'm going to be full. If you're a hotel here, and you say, so let's say 3 days, all right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I leave on Monday, right? So 3 days is what? 3 out of 7, you're talking about 35-40% increase?
That's true. He has a point there. He's got a great point.
Yeah, who cares?
And the other events. Let me put it this way. Well-financed and liquid, this is the perfect sports opportunity. Las Vegas Stadium, this is something that wasn't raised with these sponsors, potential sponsors, will be the most photographed stadium of its kind in the world when it's finished. Mark my words. It's not going to be finished on time. I seriously doubt they play a full, look, they're not going to play a full NFL season here in 2020. It's behind schedule, okay? But that doesn't mean it's a great opportunity. It doesn't mean it's fantastic. That doesn't mean it's great. This is something I said.
Is it good for the NFL?
Yeah.
I think so. I think
it's tremendously good for the NFL.
I think it's good for the NFL because it does bring new blood.
Yeah, it does.
Right? And it brings, and it is someplace that almost everybody in America says who's a football fan.
Right.
If you look at the demographics, a football fan coming to Vegas, it's like 1+1.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're
I
gonna
will say this: I want to help create the Oakland Invaders, so the Oakland Invaders can invade Las Vegas Stadium and kick the Raiders' ass. That's the idea. Okay? Yeah, you create this like great rivalry that spans the ages. Shocks everybody.
That's for a section of old Raiders.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like the whole, a section of old timers.
Yeah. See, it's like WWE style brought to the NFL. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, good on you, Bruce.
All right, bro.
Hey, thanks, man. Yeah.
Folks, that's Las Vegas Stadium under construction. It's got a long way to go. Now, the fact of the matter is, you take a good look at this
Versus the model, it's still behind schedule by about a month.
when I say versus the model.
There's a video of where it's supposed to be at this date. So that's where it's at. So I sincerely doubt it opens. And even there's an equivocation in the voice when they say 2020. It's not going to play a full NFL season here. But that aside, it is a very exciting project for Las Vegas and for the NFL. No question about it. Will it get a $600 million naming rights agreement? Doubtful. But,
I was wrong.
Bank of America seems like they're happy and on track, but we'll see. Okay?
I say here,
There are two ways to fix the project. First of all, increase the stadium tax from 88% of 1% to 1%. A. B. Then the other thing to improve it is to reestablish the tax income financing districts. All right, I got to go. Subscribe to Zenny62. I'll see ya.
Okay, so folks, what you were hearing there was, me as disgruntled Raider fan, upset that Las Vegas was taking my team, and so I've been there, and the reason why I act the way that I do now is because of that. It's not really because of that specifically, that scene, right? But because I believe that when I got back home, we were supposed to, as a city, debrief, say what the heck happened, and then, all right, totally redo everything, and then focus on retaining the athletics. And we focused on it, sort of. It went from, it had a good start. Dave listened, worked with Nancy Skinner and Oakland Mayor Lee Schaaf to establish SB 293 Skinner to get going the tax increment financing district. And then the minute the whole kit and caboodle went from legislation in California to the city's hands, the city literally dropped the ball, did nothing. To where when I had Dave on my show, July 6th of 2021, just about 3 months after Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred said, hey, you know what? The A's are going to focus on Vegas. I asked him what happened between California Governor Gavin Newsom signing SB 293 Skinner into law October 11th of 2019, and today, July 7th, 2021, why wasn't any meeting established with the county? In fact, at that point, the mayor was in the throes of establishing and had it scheduled in a first meeting, which was to occur on the 20th of that month. That's how late they were in setting up a meeting they should have done, and I thought they were going to do back in 2019. And I kept saying, hey, where is it? They're late. What's going on? So that is why by November of 2021, specifically November 20th, and then I upped it in 25th, I said the A's are out of here. They already bought land at the festival grounds. They bought an option, and they were looking around at other properties, and eventually, as you know, settled on the Tropicana. But they weren't in the middle of waiting. And Las Vegas, because of the success of the Raiders, quite literally gave the Athletics a roadmap out of Oakland. They executed it, put together the blueprint, and then did extremely well from it, doubling, actually, really, if you think about it, more than tripling their franchise value in a very short period of time. And the Athletics looked at all of that being planned out and said, wow, now here comes Legends with its track record of developing $600 million value naming rights agreements. And you're going to pour that onto a baseball organization that has spent most of its history in Oakland at the low end of the revenue rung, if not all of it, at the low end of the revenue rung or near that. It's going to be a different world. Now, a lot of you are looking at, and I keep mentioning this, you keep forgetting about sports gambling. So think about it. We've got this naming rights picture coming into focus. We don't even have any idea how the Bally's A's relationship is eventually going to pan out. A number of you are saying, well, Bally's is trying to figure out how to unload properties. Look, that's it. Unload properties. And I said to somebody that it was better for Bally's to spend time on the A's, and if they're going to do Chicago, rather than do a casino on its own, they ought to partner with the Chicago Bears, because sports gambling is where it's at. So will Bally's get religion on that? I don't know. But I do know that they need to focus on something that's immediate, and that's right now the Athletics, because the Athletics have the entitlements and everything else, and move forward with them and scale back and then restructure what they're doing in Chicago. That's just my opinion. But Bally's isn't going anywhere. And the money to them is not going to stop flowing. It's a matter, quite literally, of, I believe, them getting a little too greedy in terms of what they want to do around the world and saying, oh, I want to get involved in this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and not really saying, okay, what does our budget capacity allow us to do? Which is the kind of question that really controls, what you're going to do from there. So the bottom line, however, is that Legends has the track record to deliver. And there's this odd story, and it still does leave out and, begs the question, where's CAA in all this? Because the headline by Terry Lefton was, hey, they won the process, right? 12/13/2023. CAA lands A's ballpark naming rights agreement over Legends. And yet, if you read this, what Terry wrote, and then think about what I just read to you with the A's press release, they read very similar. The bottom line is that Legends will be the one that does it. Something happened there that is a fascinating backstory. I just know it, given the cast of characters involved, and I'm dying to tell it. More digging to come. All right, folks, that's the skinny. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark ZennyReport.com. We'll see you.